Thank you, French Shalom, and greetings to you all. I bet Brett's birthday was great. It's coming along fantastically, and what a wonderful mother she'll be. Poor Snoopy was not feeling well for his. I'm sure that the Israel Memorial Day and Independence Day Yom HaAtzmaut celebrations were a sight to see, as they always are. One day you must try and get to Israel, to Mount Herzl, to be part of the celebration. And I could see you all got out your lightsabers for Star Wars Day. And you got to get out of your own way. Let the Force be with you. Because, my friends, it always is. And we're in a week topped off with tortillas and tequila. The Mexican jelly donut, celebrating the victory of the small over the great. And don't we all love to cheer for the underdog, the true examples, the true heroes of society? And there are more celebrations. As we have dear Ophie's birthday. I haven't seen her in a long time. And it is that great healer and seer, Circe's birthday. And most important of all, Mother's Day. Where would we be without Mom? And for much of this past week, I heard from a whole bunch of atelophobics. You know, those who fear that they're imperfect and doing something wrong. And they all feared they just weren't good enough. Nonsense. You're all good enough. You're all capable of greatness, and this week's reading is going to point to that. But let's take a moment now and let's welcome all those who come together. Like when we come together to celebrate as a community, a collective consciousness, the many coming together as one, showing faith, any and all faith, love and any and all love, a true chavura of fellowship, expressing our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes. It unites us all. This community house of spirit, Beth Rove, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. And even though together, we are individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her or their own way. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody to, some physically, some digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to gather and share. From Psalm 133, the Hine Matov, come together. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim Gam Yah. Hine Matov, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. Together. We support each other in this community, so let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is your setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your own personal sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, because we all believe in something. It's part of your kavanah, your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. And goodwill and intention are the roots of what you control in life, of what you can correct. Your intention sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives. Let's take some time now. Let's use that intention, send some of that goodwill, some light, some healing, out to whoever you know that needs it. Healing and renewal for everybody. It floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out. For those you know, and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world, the tikkun olam. It's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. We have to help heal the world. It's not something we're going to complete, but it's an ongoing task to be dealt with in this lifetime and every lifetime. We must each do our part. We must each do what we can to improve and change our own little corner of the world. As we change ourselves, we change our conditions of life. And part of that healing of the world is with thoughts and energy and health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. They don't have to be sick. You see, it's for those in our hearts and our minds. Let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers. For Snoopy, Anna, for Doria, for William and Mary, for Joseph and Aurelia, for Agent K, for Dave, for Sochi, for all those suffering and in need. Let's not forget to include the familiars of our lives, all our sacred animal friends like Mookie, everywhere. For everybody you know in need, for the whole world, and for Rosemary. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, the goodwill and love we all send out. It just circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care. Because the world's a world of spirit. Spirit, my friends, never dies. Have obtained Makor Limote. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all of our spirits renew, because this is the great prayer for healing, which we call upon God to heal as He healed before. Misha Baruch, may He who blessed, because all healing's a blessing. So let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Now this week, we read what's normally the second part of last week's reading, except in leap years, when they're read separately, as we read Kedoshim Holiness. What is holiness? What does it mean? You know, it's a term we all use. Is it a state? We hear about the state of holiness. Does it make you high? Does it give you some altered sense of reality? Well, we're going to get high with the music on. We won't say bye till the night has gone. I'm gonna do you, gonna do you like you've never been there before. We're gonna get high in the midnight sun. Could they even release a song like that anymore? Even from Sir Paul? Is it a philosophy? Maybe it's about respect for things. Is it a belief? Is it a religious experience? Is it catchable? Well, you want to know what? For biblical man, it was catchable. It was the other side of the contagion of disease. But that's for another day. So what does a holy person look like? What do you picture? Do you picture a priest or a nun? Maybe you picture a preacher. You may be a preacher with spiritual pride. Maybe city councilmen taking bribes on the side. Maybe working barbershop, they know how to cut hair. Maybe somebody's mistress, maybe somebody's heir, but you're gonna have to serve somebody. We perceive the holy as serving others. And perhaps, like in Annie Hall, you imagine a Hasidic Jew with a full beard, payas, the side locks, black hat. This week we find out Leviticus 19 and 20 contain the Bible's description of what holiness looks like. Leviticus 19:2. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel. You shall say to them, you shall be holy, because I, Yahweh, your God, am holy. Well, there it is. What more do you need, my friends? You are holy. End of story. My sweet Lord, my Lord, my Lord, I really want to know. You really want to go with you. I really want to show you that it won't take long, my Lord. You know what? There's still no answer for what is meant by being holy. Well, this statement stands out because perhaps more than any other in the Torah, this chapter merges major commandments of so many different sorts. It includes most of the 10 commandments, sacrifices, justice, caring for the poor and the infirm, treatment of women, of the elderly, food, magic, loving one's neighbors, oneself, loving an alien as oneself. All the things that really matter, that really count, that unify us together in a throwaway second half parsha. Now, if one had to choose only one chapter out of the Torah to make known, it might well have been this one. The strange mixing of so many different kinds of commandments may convey that every commandment is important, even if we're naturally inclined to regard some commandments as being just a little bit more important than others, even ones we may question. So look at what's put together in this tiny little section. You shall each fear his mother and his father. You shall observe my Sabbaths. Do not turn to idols. You shall not make molten gods for yourselves. When you reap your land's harvest, you shall not finish harvesting your field's corner, and you shall not gather your harvest gleaning. You shall not strip your vineyard. You shall not collect the vineyard's fallen fruit. You shall leave them for the poor and for the alien. You shall not steal. You shall not lie. You shall not act false, each against his fellow. You shall not swear by my name falsely, so that you would desecrate your God's name. You shall not exploit your neighbor. You shall not rob. An employee's wages shall not stay through the night with you until morning. You shall not curse a deaf person, and you shall not place a stumbling block in front of a blind person. You shall fear your God. Now you see, one might think that he or she has nothing to fear from the deaf or blind persons, who can't possibly know who is wronging them. But we are warned. God knows that you should be afraid of the consequences. You shall not do an injustice in judgment. You shall not be partial to a weak person, and you shall not favor a big person. You shall judge your fellow with justice. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall not take revenge, and you shall not keep on at the children of your people. We have a greater responsibility to the nature of good. We have an obligation to tell someone when they're doing wrong. So there you go, my friends. The answer to the question in Genesis: we are our brother's keeper. And most famous from Leviticus 19:18, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Now, in some contexts, that'll mean one's fellow human being. In others, it will mean a friend or neighbor. In others still, it will mean a fellow member of a particular community. The people of Israel are commanded to love all human beings, not just their own people, no matter how one understands the term. And that, my friends, is extraordinary. We've seen that the law of Leviticus is pervaded with the notion of distinction between priest and layperson, holy, secular, pure, impure, between Israel and other nations, between good and bad, and sometimes simply between permitted and forbidden, in food and relationships and material, with no reasons given. Leviticus does include one exception to this pervasive idea of distinguishing and differentiating, which ironically is this most famous line in the book: love your neighbor as yourself. Besides everything else that's impressive about this instruction, it stands out as unusual in a book that so regularly makes distinctions. In relations with one's fellow human beings, one's commanded instead to equate them to oneself and by necessary implication to one another. The exception improves the rule. The distinctions in ritual and ethical matters serve various needs of the people and the will of their God, but underpinning the distinctions is this principle of equality of treatment for all. It is something to unify us, to make the many one. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one. No is the saddest experience you'll ever know. Yes, it's the saddest experience you'll ever know. 'Cause one is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. One is the loneliest number, worse than two. One can be many, but one can be alone. As the world is sacred, my friend, so is everything in it. Express your gratitude. Light a candle, make a wish, celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together, we celebrate each other, we love each other. We share this right together, men and women equally. Just let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. Please do learn to forgive and learn to love, including yourself. Open your hearts, honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey. We take twists and turns in the patterns that weave through our fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now, bless you all. Have a fantastic week. Week of love and light. Week of peace. A week of miracles. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe. We set in motion everything that happens in our lives. It is our intention, our cabin, our cause, our effect. Everything is linked. And as I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness, but do so with sincerity, with accountability, with vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people, the world, just as they are? Can you accept life just as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It's your home. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love, because it's always in front of you. And remember that faith. It is an unwavering adherence to principle. Just as I have principle, faith in the principle of love, of all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year. May you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go. And work to be present in the body. Expand your heart and quiet your mind, because the deepest source of your real power lies in consciousness and your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. So make the most of your time in this life. Continue to touch and transform the lives around you, because you're never alone. You're forever blessed and have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet. Your words are your power to transform, to love, to bless. So be generous with them. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger. And be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief and what they mean to you. Never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced others have too, we share together. We learn together, and we help each other, because we are each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives. Let's find them. Tell them what they mean, and remember, you're never alone on your journey to your promised land. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive, and keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. And remember to think before you speak, because your words can empower and free you, but they can imprison you. And know that your actions are not the only thing known. So are your intentions. God knows it's fragile. God knows everything. God knows it could snap apart right then, just like putting scissors to a string. And this is far greater meaning than you realize at first. Sometimes we are blinded by hate, jealousy, fear. This matter of divine knowledge. One's reminded of the case of David's affair with Bathsheba and his removal of her husband, which is then known, revealed, and paid back by God. One's reminded of Jacob's deception of his father Isaac, who's blind. Paid back in kind when Jacob is in turn deceived by his sons with the same items he used to deceive his father. His brother's cloak, parts of a goat. God knows, my friends. So thank you for joining me. Have a great week. Take mother out. And please keep exercising forgiveness. Be thankful, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Believe in yourself and in love. Continue to spread a little goodwill to the world. And never forget, you are the miracle in someone else's life. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. See you all again soon. Thanks.